EVO.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Finding Me. I'm Josh Wolf. I'm so happy to be here with you guys today. Super grateful for really everything right now. This is a podcast. It's like a journal entry slash podcast. I'm really doing this. This is the first thing I've really done for me. I'm trying to use this to hold myself accountable to be the person I want to be and be authentic. And I think I lost some of that over the last, I don't know how many years, where I performed so much that I think the performer started to really blend into a real world. And even just now, if you notice the change in my voice, as soon as the camera went on, I projected a little. And I just gotta doing this. I've already noticed a ton of changes just from being here. I hope that this in some way helps even one person start to, you know, live the life that they want to live. Today is Insecurity Day, and I want to talk about probably my biggest insecurity, probably the one that's held me back the most. And the one that I mean, I, I'd be lying to you if I told you it didn't still bother me. I'm just way better now than I was. But I can't seem to shake it. And so I'll get to that in a second. But I want to tell you guys, man. And yeah, if you notice, I'm dressed like a asshole 80s high school person right now. Anyways, I fucked up my shoulder at the gym, and I'm doing this to remind myself. Yo, I know my body, I know what works, I know my injuries. I've worked out for long enough to work around them. I got this new trainer, and I ended up doing a couple things I fucking knew that my shoulder would not handle. I knew it. And I did not. It was light work. And I was like, okay, maybe my shoulder's better. I said this to myself every time. Once every 3 years, 2 years, I do this to myself. Maybe it's better. Maybe I've strengthened it enough. And it's not. A tear is a tear in your shoulder. And it's not getting better unless you do something to make it better. And I didn't speak up for myself. And this will be the last time I don't do that. I knew as I was doing those exercises, and they were light, man, and it doesn't matter. But I knew as I was doing them, oh, this is going to be bad. And I just didn't speak up for myself. And that is the last time I do this. I do that. Not her fault. I should have said, hey, I can't do that. Um, but so I'm a little mad at myself, but I'm using it as a just teachable, as in that's the last time I do that. I just know what I know. I don't know everything about anything, but I know about me and I know what works for me. I've been in the gym a long fucking time. So for me, I have a torn labrum and a partial tear in my rotator cuff. And because of that, there are some muscles in my shoulder that are pretty weak because I can't do exercises, those particular exercises. And I could go to physical therapy, there's no doubt. I just Here's the thing. I'm mad because I won't be able to work out, waist up for probably a month. And I don't want to do physical therapy because I know how to work out and not hurt it, you know? And I don't feel like I'm not competing in a competition. I don't need, you know what I mean? If my right shoulder's a little weaker, when I'm 80, I don't give a fuck. So this is just a reminder to you to speak up for yourself, man. You know when to say no and not to feel bad about it. It's such a bummer I uh I was in there today. So embarrassing. I can't even really carry any weight. Anything over like 20 pounds for anything more than 10 seconds is a fucking no-go. And I was carrying a 25-pound dumbbell, a weight, in the gym today. And because I was doing some legs on a machine, and it just something in my shoulder. I made the most embarrassing noise at the gym. I did. Ah! Oh my God. I'm so glad most people wear headphones. They didn't hear that. But there was one dude right next to me who heard it. And he looked at me and he goes, "You okay, bro?" But he was really asking, that year, "Are you okay, bro?" was code for, why did that noise come out of your mouth? It was just like, I mean, I didn't even go, oh, like manly. Oh, fuck. You know what I mean? A son of a bitch. But I went, oh, and dropped a 25-pound weight. Oh, it, it was embarrassing for sure. There was also a dude who I saw in the gym today, and then I'll get to the insecurity, who you could tell he didn't want to fart at the squat machine. So every now and then he'd take a lap around the gym, and I happened to be cross path with him at one time. He was just crop dusting the gym so it didn't smell at his squat station. And I want to tell you, sir, respect. I would have pulled the same thing. I don't want to smell it. I'm squatting. You know what I mean? So, anyways, all right. Insecurity number one. My the bane of my existence probably for the last 2026, maybe 8 years, 10 years. Ugh. I my perceived, and it could be just perception, but it isn't, lack of respect, not as a person. I think people respect me as a person, but the lack of respect from my peers as a comic is is has been pretty crippling for me. Been pretty crippling. And I hear people, I'll hear from other comics, but here's the deal. When I say my peers, so my level or higher, my level lower than me, I'll hear, I have people who come on the road with me or friends that I know who are like, man, anytime I mention your name, other people are like, he's such a good dude. Uh, It's kind of crazy that I kind of poo poo that because none of them, do you know what I mean? It's got nothing to do with the comedy. But he's such a good dude is not coming from my peers or above. Now, there's a group of people that I'm friends with and stuff, but look, I've talked about it before, so it's not like this will probably be the only name I use, but it stems from Rogan for sure. A long time ago, he and I were friendly, but let me tell you how long ago he and I were friendly. He was so anti weed, you couldn't even talk about it around him. That's how long ago we were friends. And then something happened. Either somebody he knows and likes said something to him, or I've been told a few times about what it is that started out him not liking me. And I'm not going to get into that, even though it's the pettiest thing I've ever heard in my life. But if you look, guys, I've been doing this a long time. I'm pretty good at my job. I'm not the best. I'm not the worst. People come to my shows, have a great time. I'm not for everybody, but no comics for everybody. But this last go around with my special, there were so many comedian podcasts who just never, never returned reach outs from me or my manager about going on the show. it was so glaring. If you think about all your favorite comedy podcasts, if I've never been on there or been on there once, that once might be like a favor. That they're probably in that group. They're probably in that group. And it's embarrassing for me to talk about, which is why I am out loud. It's embarrassing for a few reasons. Um, it's embarrassing to admit, but it's most embarrassing that it's happening. And it's impossible not to take it personal because there's so many of them. I have somebody who I considered a fucking straight up friend, um, who took one trip to Austin and like I never I never got a return text. I mean, I ended up taking the number out of my phone, but never for like 6 months. Never got a return text. Never. It was kind of crazy. And if you don't see me, I don't perform at the mothership and all those come. And I don't mind not performing at the mothership, but it's embarrassing that's happening. Impossible not to take personally because it's not. If it was one person, I'd be like, nah, that's one person. But it's so many. Yeah, and it's impossible for me to avoid. I look on socials. If you look on my Instagram, if you're and I have to stop doing this. I mean, I've either just not followed or muted most of the people, so I don't have to see their feeds. But it's impossible not to notice, for me, the lack of interaction with any other comic my level or above on social media. The lack of I mean, I gotta stop looking at who's liking the pictures and the videos, but the lack of all of it is so glaring to me, and it's like I said, like, impossible not to take personal because they're not rejecting a paper with numbers on it. They're rejecting me, who I am, you know? I had one person I went and did because I know he likes me as a friend. I had one person who I went and did his podcast, and 3 months later, I was like, "Hey, dude, why haven't we aired that podcast?" And what it came back to me, not from him directly, is that it just won't look good in that group to be the only person that has me on their show. And it's a trickle down. It's a trickle down through audiences and through people. It, it's been very difficult for me because I love comedy so much. I love the community. I put so much into it. I really do. I put so much into it. And to feel like the community doesn't accept me, and like I said, my peers, the respect of my peers, to feel that is very difficult. I think it's held me back because I think about it more than other things I should be thinking about. It it's not good energy to have around me. Do you know what I mean? And but I just can't shake it. It bothers me, like not selling tickets and all that stuff, that wouldn't bother me because it happens to most people eventually. And sometimes your audience, people are like, I've seen him 8 times or whatever it is. So I get that. There's nothing I can do about that. And there's nothing I can do about them either. But that bothers me to the core. I've been near tears a few times. There have been times where like I was at somebody's show, arena show, and I got backstage just because I know the promoter and he's a buddy of mine. And we went back, and the guy whose show it was, there were a ton of comics there. I looked around for a second. I'm like, where's everybody? And this person had basically grabbed all the comics except one and gone into a separate room to, just be comics and shoot the shit and do a couple tequila shots and like I I need to find a way to make it not have it make me feel so bad about myself. And then it makes me question what I do, which I should never question what I do. Like I said, I'm not for everybody, dude. I'm not if you're in for like a real political or real a thinker of jokes, I'm not it. I'm not it. If you want silly and fun and ridiculous, I'm it. I'm it. If you want a fun show, I'm it. That's a fun show. I I don't know. Look, I don't go see other comedy shows, but when I'm firing on all cylinders, I don't think there are many people that are getting more and bigger laughs throughout an hour. I just don't. Not the most, but it's pretty good. We're doing pretty good. So I know the shows are good. I know what I'm doing is good, but it makes me question that. It makes me question myself as a person and my validity and my worth. And I am so tired of it. So tired of it. I just don't know how to run it down. I just don't. I just don't. I'm bummed that Jacob's heard me talk about it. I'm so bummed he's heard me talk about it. But sometimes I just can't. It's like I just get filled and I just have to be like, what the fuck? Where are, you know, why am I Rudolph? Why aren't I invited to any of the reindeer games? So I could do 2 hours on this, but I'm not gonna. I because I mean, I know I've done therapy on it, but the problem with doing the therapy on it, no problem, is that it's not something I can escape because it's in front of my face all the time. So anytime I get like 2 steps forward, something happens where it's like 2 steps back and I'm back. Um, anyways, I feel so different now than even when I sat down. Because I get disappointed, not just that it's happening, but that I'm not somehow strong enough to walk through it. And I don't know if it's my therapist was like, we got to find out in your childhood. Okay, but can't we just hypnotize me so I don't give a fuck anymore? I, I don't like if I put up a clip and there were a million bad comments from strangers, I would be like, yeah, this is what I do, and some people aren't gonna like it. But and that lack of respect and acknowledgement of just even if you don't like my comedy, time served and hard work. And because guys, I was thinking about this today as I was thinking about this podcast. I was starting to think about my resume. And I've headlined all around the world, sold out theaters. I've sold movies. I've sold TV shows. I've written on TV shows. I've written on late night shows. I have written my book. I'm a New York Times bestseller. I have written on game shows. I've written for Foxworthy on Are You Smarter Than Fifth Grader? So I had to write 100 jokes a night. I have acted in TV. I was on over 300 episodes of Chelsea. Like, and I, all through that, have written nonstop material. So even if you like, I started to think about that. I'm like, well, what's the problem? And so it must be, I keep going back to, well, it must be me. You know what I mean? So it is the one thing that I keep wanting to shed, but just haven't figured out how. I'm hoping that continuing to do this and just being honest and open as I stare at myself helps. It's one of the reasons like I'm doing this. This is like the reason I stare at myself and not the camera is because one, my mustache is longer than it's ever been. And two, it's almost like a way of, for me, therapy of talking directly to myself. It's one of the reasons I wanted to do this on video. That's it. All right. This is Finding Me. More insecurities later this week. I hope you all are doing well. Do something for yourself. I went and got myself, I love this coffee, but it's fucking $12, so I do it once a month. But go do something for yourself. Treat yourself. You know what I mean? And just remember, like I gotta tell myself every day, you are enough, man. And this is the first day without Beth. You know, she's filming her movie. And so I really focused on my schedule. I wrote everything down. I got a later start. I actually slept until fucking 7:30 today. I haven't slept till 7:30 and I don't know how long. But so everything got pushed back a little bit. But I am looking at my goal list when I go upstairs, my list of things to do, and I'm through a bunch of them. So I'm really hoping to refocus myself over these 2 months when Beth is gone. And I'm in Phoenix and Tempe this weekend. Come check me out. All right, everybody. This is Finding Me. I'm Josh Wolf. Later.